Well, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing on this beautiful day here? Our spirits are not down. Good. Well, let's give a big Packers welcome to our special guests here today. So it's an honor to have our special guests here to take in training camp, and we did have some plans to take in the bike tradition, and we'll do that a little bit, but unfortunately the weather's not cooperating with us. But Commissioner and Governor said they'd come back and take it in another day, so perhaps we can get them to do that. So we're very excited to have you all here. Thanks for taking time to come out, and we're still really excited about the announcement that we had back in May about the NFL selecting Green Bay to host the 2025 NFL Draft. And work has been underway, certainly before that and since that, and we've got a lot of work to come, but we're very excited to engage in that work. And we've got a lot of people to thank for getting us here and supporting us and donating their time, talent, and treasure to our effort. And I'm going to say thanks to a few people, certainly from Governor Evers at the state level and his team. Thanks for their support, and we've got help from Tourism Secretary Ann Sayers and WEDC Secretary and CEO Missy Hughes. We're going to be engaging with them as we move forward to maximize what the draft is going to bring to our city, region, and state. And we've got a number of state legislators that have been helpful in the effort and getting that support from the state. We've got a few of them here today. I'd like to name Senator Rob Coles is here, Representative David Steffen, Representative Mako, Representative Shelton, Representative Maxey, Representative Green, Representative Binsfield, Representative Schmidt, Senator Ballweg, Senator Felskowski, Representative Murphy, Representative Gustafson, Representative Baden, and Senator Markline is here from the Joint Finance Committee. We thank him for leading the effort through the process there. And we've got other elected leaders from our communities here. Ashwaubenon Village President Mary Kardowski is here. Troy Streckenbach, our county executive, is here. We're going to hear from him shortly. And the City of Green Bay, Mayor Eric Genrich couldn't be here, but I know he's got a member of his team, Chief Matt Knott. Matt is here, so thank you. We've got our Stadium District Board that is always helpful in anything we do here at the stadium. Very pleased to have their support through the process. Including Chair Leah Weicker, Vice Chair Keith Lucius, Senator Coles is on that board, Barb Dorff, Chad Weininger, Mark Grawl, Bill Galvin, and staff members Brian Dworak, Pat Webb, Greg Keel, and Diane Roscom. Very pleased to have their help through that effort as well. And we've got many, many others in the community that are supporting us and will be supporting us. We're excited about that. And another special member of our team, Jim Steineke, is here today, so I want to thank Jim for his help in the process. And we've got a few speakers that are going to be up here at the podium, and we're going to welcome them. And then after that, we're going to take some time, and since we can't necessarily ride these bikes today, we are going to take some pictures with them and have a little fun. So, that being said, again, thanks for coming. And to get things started from the Packers, I'd like to welcome the architect and the chief cheerleader in our process, our CEO, President Mark Murphy.
Thank you, Aaron, and welcome everybody. This is very impressive to look out here and see so many people that were a part of this and others that just taking in the excitement of knowing that. And I think we've been counting down. We're about 20 months now where we're going to be hosting. It's just tremendous. Like Aaron said, and so many people to thank. But for me, it's really an honor to be here to welcome to the stage some of our special guests today. County Executive Troy Streckenbach, Governor Tony Evers, and NFL Commissioner, of course, Roger Goodell. It's been an incredible couple months for the Packers since we first got word in May that we'd be hosting the NFL Draft in 2025. And, you know, not just for the city of Green Bay, I think probably more than any other draft, this is going to be a state draft. And the whole state's going to benefit from it. and really excited about it. And we're excited and honored to have been selected as the host. We greatly appreciate the work of our team here at the Packers, led by Gabrielle Dell. Where is Gabrielle? Stand up, Gabrielle. She's, you know. There were times over the last, 5, 6 years where we thought, I don't know if it's going to happen, but Gabrielle's very persistent, and we continued, and she deserves a lion's share of the credit. Our team also included Megan Roberson, Candy Goltz, Aaron Popke, of course, Joan Malcheski, Julie Leong, Doug Collins, and many, many others. As we said, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but it will be an incredible experience, and we're looking forward to the challenge. Also would also like to thank our senior staff for their support, includes Ed Policy, Paul Baniel, Russ Ball, Craig Benzel, Nicole Ledvina, and Jason Wallers. All were instrumental in making the decision to move forward and make every effort possible to host the draft. I also want to recognize our Packers Executive Committee. They have been so supportive all along and really understood exactly what this will mean to the community. Going back, I think Larry Wires, we started talking about this when, when you were the lead director, and then Tom Olson, and now with Susan Finko has been extremely supportive. I also would be remiss if I didn't give special thanks to Mark McMullen. Mark passed away, but he was a real champion for this, and this is something that really would have meant an awful lot to him, and he was invaluable in the effort. Another great part of our team was our local host committee, led by our chair, Mike Haddad, and vice chair, Kate Burgess, have just been, again, very persistent. We've been working on it, and it's great to see it all come together. Other committee members include Nancy Armbrust and also George Kuntz, former player. Really excited to have them. Yeah, you can have a round of applause for George. George is a great role model for our players. He's on our board. He went on to a career in higher education and doing great things in the community here as well. The host committee have been great teammates in supporting the event, as well as recruiting our great team of donors that are sponsoring the event. Speaking of donors, we've got many to recognize. They've just done an outstanding job. First, we have our green and gold donors. And green donors, Delaware North, have been our concessionaires for about 15 years, just tremendous, led by Jerry Jacobs, and they just stepped forward, and it's been a great partnership. The Kohler companies, led by David Kohler, just tremendous partners, and when you're in Wisconsin, you say Kohler, it's first class. And I remember Herb, talking with Herb about the possibility of the draft, and he knew how to put on big events with Ryder Cups and PGA championships, and really excited to have the partnership with the Kohler Company. Myron Construction, got a number of them here. Almost, you look around Lambeau Field, probably every building here was built by Myron. So they have been great partners. David Voss and Tim Kipperhan, just been great to work with them for so many things over the years. Gold donors, Associated Bank, Andy Harmoning. Where's Andy? Yeah, thank you, Andy. We appreciate it. I think Associated Bank is our oldest sponsor. I think it goes back to the, Chad, 1920s. 1919, right there when we started. And so they've been tremendous. Thank you, Andy. Bellin Health, GAPE sponsor, Chris Waleski, appreciate their support. Bellmark, Carl Schmidt. Carl's also been actively involved on our executive committee. The Bergstrom companies, John and Tim Bergstrom, just have been great partners. They're going to be providing funding and also vehicles for the draft. And I do want to also mention John Bergstrom served on our executive committee for many, many years, and just has been invaluable to the organization over the years. Also next to him, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Dan Ahrens, who's also a key member of our executive committee. Last but not least, O-Snap Pickling Company, Ryan and Marissa Downs. We're excited to have them on board. These are some of the state's flagship companies, and it's great to have them on board as key community supporters of this important event. We are continuing to fundraise, and so if you're out there and you've got some money and you'd like to, Mike and Dad would be the right person to talk to. But we are. We've had a lot of people step forward. State and others have been great, but really are continuing the efforts there. I also want to thank the team at Discover Green Bay, Brad Toll. They have been, yeah, Brad. Just done an outstanding job, Brad, and they'll continue to be a key teammate of ours as well as the chamber. Really do appreciate it. And of course, at the state level, I mentioned Governor Evers and members of the legislature. I know Aaron mentioned a number of people, but I do want to give special thanks to Governor Evers, and we really do appreciate the state's contribution to hosting the draft. That support will allow us to maximize the benefits of the event. And I think our area representatives deserve special credit. Dave Steffens, you heard from Aaron mentioned him, as well as Senator Rob Coles for their leadership of the bill. As I understand it, had bipartisan support. There aren't many things you can say that about, so congratulations. Also, I want to thank the Joint Finance Committee, led by Senator Mark Line and Representative Bourne. We're also very appreciative of the other community partners that we have, especially Green Bay, Ashwaubenon, and Brown County. You're going to be hearing from Troy in a minute, but I also did want to mention that Mayor Gingrich has been extremely supportive, and of course Mary Kardowski has always been a great partner and supporter of the Packers. Their teams will be integral to this event, from public safety to public works to many other pieces. Also, I also wanted to mention the Stadium District Board have been very supportive. They love having outside events. And I know, where's Pat Webb? I know, yes, we've got a big one coming for you, Pat. I think you're going to like it. But they have also pledged financial support. You know, this is something I mentioned before, Gabrielle. This is a project we've been working on really since the NFL first took the draft on the road, so to speak. For years, it had been in New York, and I think the first time they took it on the road, it was to Chicago in 2015. And, you know, we thought, you know, this would be a great thing for Green Bay. And we know that Green Bay, obviously with our history and tradition, which really goes back to the first days of the NFL, and of course Lambeau Field would be integral to our effort. I want to give Roger, and I think it's also the Major Events Committee that had the confidence in us. We're by far the smallest city in the NFL. We'll be the smallest city ever to host an NFL draft. But we may be small, but we know how to do things, and we know how to host big events, especially football events. Yeah, Roger, obviously Roger's been commissioner for 17 years, and everything has grown under his leadership. The NFL has become more and more popular. But you know, when you think about it, of all the things that the league has done, the draft and what it's become is one of the major events that the league, one of the best things the league has done. You know, you think about it, it was in New York for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And it was really primarily a TV event. And Roger had the foresight to see this is really something that we could take on the road and become a major event that would benefit communities across the state. So give him a lot of credit. I know Peter O'Reilly is also instrumental at the league office, and we're really excited to be a part of it and see the see the impact that the draft can have. And we know our Packer fans are passionate. I hear from them probably more often after losses than wins, but they know football, and it's really excited to be able to bring the energy of the draft here. You know, in my mind, the beauty of the draft is obviously you have the popularity of the NFL, but what it brings together is the popularity of college football with the popularity of the NFL. And it's just phenomenal, the interest that it's generated and continues to grow. we're very excited about the impact that the draft, it's going to attract just under 250,000 people. We estimate right around 240,000 people in Green Bay and the Wisconsin, and throughout the entire week, and will create an economic impact of 94 million statewide and around 20 million here in Green Bay. Much more than a normal game weekend for the Packers. And on TV, there'll be over 54 million viewers watching. So in some ways, it's really going to be, a year-long or a 2-year-long commercial about the benefits of Green Bay and Wisconsin. And so it's really excited about the impact and how much it's going to benefit this community. And just greatly appreciate, I think it's a great opportunity for the state of Wisconsin to be on not just a national stage, a world stage. The league has really become an international interest across the world. And we feel we're building an experience that is bigger than ourselves, and will create a once in a generation opportunity that will create a lasting legacy for both Green Bay and Wisconsin. Just in closing, I would say, thanks for bearing with me. I had a lot of people to thank. I wanted to make sure I thanked everybody, but really appreciate particularly our guests up on stage with us today, and thank everyone that will work to make this a great event. Thank you very much, and go Pack Go.
Thank you, Mark. Great sentiments we all share and we'll be holding on to as we prepare for 2025. Our next speaker is one many of us know here locally, Troy Streckenbach, our county executive. He's from the area, grew up in the area. He does a lot of great things for our community, has great energy and enthusiasm for everything that takes place around here. And it'd be great to bring him here and get a little reflection on what it's going to mean for our city and our county and our region. Troy.
Thank you, Aaron. Commissioner Goodell, Governor Evers, President Murphy, thank you for giving our community a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase what it means to be part of the team. Before I kind of get in my remarks, for those who watched Saturday, yeah, we have a team. It's really exciting, and Jordan Love really rocked it. So go Pack, go. When you think about this, as Mark mentioned, the timing and the planning, and Mark, really thank you for being the champion of this and just pushing it as an organization. As you noted, a city our size and a community our size, this is probably a little bit more challenging to win this type of bid. But obviously your tenacity and your vision and your leadership with your team made it become a reality. So when you think about this, back, I think Mary, you and I were talking about, and just that building right across the street, the Resch Expo, when we were talking about that, it really was, how do we make this available and complement our efforts around an NFL draft? And so I think and I hope that what we were able to accomplish with the Resch Expo really truly provides for that experience that both the NFL is hoping for its operation, but also for the fans to experience. So really in the end, when we think about this, we have an opportunity of a lifetime. As you heard, 54 million people are going to be watching, on TV. It's an opportunity for us as a state, but more importantly as a region, selfishly Brown County, to really promote why moving here or living here or visiting here is a great experience. Now it becomes important upon us to really showcase that hospitality that we're so well known for. And so I just would want to encourage all of Brown County, Greater Green Bay, the region, to really put on that smile and that welcoming favor. And so when we think about over the course of time with this opportunity, we truly will see an experience for not only 43, 41, and Highway 29, but for the state of Wisconsin. And so I'm just really encouraged that we've, as a community, really been able to put together an effort that will showcase this area. And so with that, Aaron, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Troy. And as was mentioned, Troy and the other leaders of our local communities and municipalities have been very supportive. And of course, Troy and people at county level had the foresight to add the Resch Expo Center to our campus here, so to speak. That's going to be featured very, very highly within the draft event itself. So we're excited about that. And at the state level, I mentioned some thanks earlier to the legislators. Representative Gobin is here as well. I missed her, but thanks to her and her efforts at the state level. And regarding the state, we also have a number of guests here from the area, the state's direct marketing organizations, the convention and visitors bureaus, the tourism folks. So give yourselves a hand for what you're going to be doing as we put out the red carpet for the state of Wisconsin. We appreciate everything you're going to be doing in your areas of the state to welcome all our visitors. And speaking of the state, I'd like to invite Governor Evers here for a few of his comments. We know he's a big Packers fan and a fan of the draft as well. Governor Evers.
Well, thanks so much, Aaron, and good morning, everybody. I am really jazzed to be here today, regardless of the weather. So thank you also to President Murphy and County Executive Streckenbach and Commissioner Goodell and every single person who's made this a possibility for the state of Wisconsin and who have finally brought the NFL draft home to Titletown, back to what some have called the roots of the NFL itself. I was glad to offer my support to bring the NFL draft to Wisconsin because might be biased, but I can't name a better place to host the NFL draft. What a better place than the oldest, what a better place than the oldest stadium built for football in the NFL, the home of the namesake of the Super Bowl trophy himself, Vince Lombardi, and the home of the only NFL team owned by the fans. There's a bond there. There's a bond between the players, the coaches, and the community that you can't find anyplace else. Then, of course, there's a deep loyalty, long-held traditions, and a league-high 13 world championship titles, I might add, that make the Packers and the city of Green Bay unique in the NFL. One thing's for certain, though. When the NFL hosts the draft here in Green Bay, a whole group of rookies will get a chance to start their career in America's greatest city for football, one rich in history and tradition, and the state that bleeds green and gold. And folks from all over will get to witness this, whether it's visiting Green Bay themselves during the draft or by tuning in at home while planning their next trip to Lambeau. That's great news for Green Bay, Northeast Wisconsin, and the rest of our state. And to help make sure this event can go off without a hitch, in the most recent budget I signed for the state, I was incredibly glad to award our local partners at Discover Green Bay a $2 million grant to support their efforts which will ensure that the hundreds of thousands of visitors who will be making their way to Green Bay for the event will have such a good time that they'll want to keep coming back year after year. And I also want to thank all the legislators. I know they've all been introduced before, but obviously this is a legislative and an administration combined effort. So we're just coming off a record-breaking year for Wisconsin tourism. And with folks and events like this, we're not taking our foot off the gas anytime soon. Our Department of Tourism and local tourism partners like Discover Green Bay are a powerhouse and will keep working to make Wisconsin a top destination for these types of events and ensure that our tourism industry continues to break records for years to come. So I want to thank everyone who had a hand in this again. This wouldn't have been possible with so many of the folks you've heard about today. It's a result of a lot of hard work, and everybody should be incredibly excited and proud. Go Pack, go, and back to you, Aaron. Take us home.
Thank you, Governor. Really excited for the state of Wisconsin and everyone that'll have a hand and witness and experience the event. And speaking of the event and the team that chose Green Bay and is bringing the draft to Green Bay, next up we'd like to invite NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate the NFL draft in 2025 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Can't think of anything better, so thank you. Also sort of nice to be here to celebrate the start of the 2023 NFL football season, so we're also excited about that. As you can imagine, as many have spoken about already, the draft has become the biggest off-season event and one that has the most significance for our clubs and our communities. So it's grown beyond any of our imaginations. It's the one day that I always like to say is every team gets better. Some get better than others. And it really is a time for renewed hope. Everybody has that renewed hope, and the schedule comes out 2 weeks later, and it begins the march towards the next season. And this draft has become really that kind of a mark for us and that kind of a landmark to our season. Mark said 54 million, so I'm going to put the gauntlet down now. We have been getting closer to 70 recently, so we want to see the Green Bay Super Bowl get 70 million. Excuse me, sorry, NFL draft. Hey, you just got a Super Bowl. You want to be in it or you want to host it? I'm not sure which one. Both. Yeah, that's good. I'm not surprised at that answer, by the way. That was good. As Mark mentioned a little bit about our history, we moved the draft out of New York after over 50 years. You are the 14th city to host this. Believe it or not, the second in Wisconsin. Milwaukee actually hosted the draft in 1940, I believe it was. So you have a long history in the draft. And in 2025, it will actually be our 90th draft. So I can't think of a better place to be able to do that than right here in really what is the heart of football. So thank you for that. And I have a long list of thank yous, but I'm going to start with our staff, because our staff did all the work here. We have Matt Shapiro and Helen and Haiti down here, and there's so many others that aren't here. You'll be seeing a lot of them. They'll probably be paying taxes here in the next couple of years. They're going to be here so often. But it really doesn't happen without people like Helen and Matt and Haiti and so many others in really pulling together an event of this size. Doing it in a different city every year has its challenges. But the real beauty of it is really it's a chance for you to put your community on the biggest stage. And we think that that's really the opportunity here for you all. Everyone's going to see Green Bay. They may see it with some snow, maybe not some snow. I don't know. We'd be happy to see a little snow personally. But the reality of it is it's a huge stage for you all to show what your community is all about. I think everybody knows your love of football, but this is a chance to talk about the fact that you really do know how to do big events. You really do have a tremendous amount of pride in this community, well beyond football, and you should. So we look forward to being here. Now, this is the first time I've said this, so you better hold on to your seats. But with the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the NFL selects Green Bay, Wisconsin. So Green Bay, you're on the clock. Murph, Thank you to all the work you've done. I got to say one quick thing about Murph. He was one of the first to say, we want to have the draft here in Green Bay. As soon as we talked about moving it around, there's no one who's a greater supporter of this community and all it can do. So Murph, congratulations to you and your team for what you've done. And to the governor and the county executive, it doesn't happen without a great public-private partnership. These things don't happen without that. And there's so many of you on the private sector here, the public sector, that just, they make these events really what they truly are for your community and nationwide and actually even global now. So we can't wait to be here in 2025. Look forward to seeing you, and thank you for all your support.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate those words, and we're on the clock.